I would challenge you to read this, try it, and I promise you, you would learn a lot from this. And you wouldn't look at fashion kind of the same way again. It's definitely not superficial. It's not frivolous. It shapes our culture. Hi everyone, this is Paul Loves to Read, and as you know in this channel, it's all about spreading the love and joy for literature. And we hope our little channel helps you find the right book for you. So today we're going to do another round of my random review, ebooks edition, printed out. So let us shuffle and then get one. Middle, as usual. Hi, Dress Code. Okay, I wanted to review this one. Dress Code by Véronique Hyland. Published in 2022, just this year. Very fresh. And I'm not surprised that, it's very new because she covered a lot of very recent topics in here about fashion. So this is a nonfiction book. Let me read the whole title. So it's called Dress Code: Unlocking Fashion from the New Look to Millennial Pink by Véronique Hyland. So it's about fashion. It's, to quote a friend, he said that it feels like a dissertation of current fashion. And I thought that was the perfect description. The format of the book is per chapter, she covers one kind of fashion statement, or whatever's uso, or whatever is a defined fashion. I don't know what's the term, a defined fashion. So each chapter covers that, and she kind of digs deep into what makes that fashion work, where and what are the origins of that fashion. And she also attacks it from different angles, right? She would talk about fashion being related to, obviously, culture, fashion being related to politics, to religion, to gender, to current economic climate, and so on, to current culture opinions, popular culture, and so on. So it's very deep in that sense. So I really appreciated that. I did not expect that at all. I was expecting, of course, to discuss fashion, but it was such a refreshing and pleasant surprise for me when she really gave you the whole kind of exactly that. It's like a thesis about the fashion statement, right? So she talked about, for example, since she mentioned millennial pink, she talked about the obsession of millennial pink, that color. You would know that color. Where it came from, why is it called millennial pink? Which, by the way, she was the one who coined that term. Why it suddenly became, everywhere. Why all the social media advertisers use it, and why the youth loves it, and so on and so forth. And then she also talks about cultural fashion appropriation, right? And then there's talk about the grunge fashion, and then fashion about, fashion, post-war fashion, and so on and so forth. There is a lot to unpack here. And if you think that you have nothing to do with fashion, or if you think that fashion is a frivolous, thing, I think this book would change your mind, because fashion is so much more than clothes. And I think the classic example of that is in the movie The Devil Wears Prada, which she also quoted in the book, by the way. The movie in Devil Wears Prada, wherein Miranda Priestley schooled Andy about the color of cerulean blue, right? And it's like that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I think you know what I'm talking about. It's like that. She connects everything. She connects fashion to your everyday life, to political views, and so on and so forth. So it's impressive, actually, the research on it. All my fashionista friends would love this book, and I am not surprised that one of my fashionista friends already read the book before I did. And so yeah, all of you who loves fashion, you would enjoy this. But for those who are not so fashion, inclined, like it's something that you are not really interested in, I would challenge you to read this, because this is more than just talking about fashion. To me, it almost feels like a history lesson. It's like a look into our. It almost feels like a cultural lesson, learning, education type thing. So it's not just about fashion. The angle of the story is fashion, looking through the fashion lens, right? But it's more than that. So it helps that you know about fashion because she's going to talk about a lot of designer, the names, the fashion terms, the terminologies. So it helps that you know about fashion, right? But if you don't know anything about fashion, you would still appreciate it because it's beyond that. Parang ganun. Siguro kung hindi ka lang fashion oriented, medyo may extra step ka na sino ba yun? Parang ganyan hindi niya expound kasi there's that the author has that expectation siguro or assumption na kilala mo na kung sino pinag-uusapan niya. Kung sino yung designer na to, hindi niya na-explain na ito yung ganyan. Siguro there are a few sections na meron siyang one-liner definition and then that's it. But yeah, she's more focused on the deeper aspect of it. I would challenge you to read this, try it, and I promise you would learn a lot from this, and you wouldn't look at fashion kind of the same way again. It's definitely not superficial. It's not frivolous. The runway fashion that you see, the designers that we know, the big names that you know, the small names, the small designers that you know. It shapes our culture, and it is part and parcel of our everyday representation of ourselves and also of our society, as corny as that sounds. But yeah, I love it. It's very informational, very educational. So there you have it. I hope I somehow convinced you, and thank you.